Will be a big talking point because they've been involved in all the other games, but he's obviously seen something he doesn't like, and he's had a look at it. He's new manager. They've probably had a clean slate since he come in, but he obviously doesn't like what he see. Whatever about their on-field performances, he's on about looking at their attitudes in terms of training, travelling, the way they speak to staff, work rate, etc. So to leave him out of the squad is a big call. But for us who've watched United recently, there's also not that big a surprise because both players have been poor.
We'll get back to Roy in just a quick second, but remember, you know how this works. If you like this video, if you like what I've got to say, please put it in the comments. Please like, share and subscribe. But more importantly, put it in the comments. Please, I really want to know what you've got to say. And, well, Marcus Rashford. We've been talking about him for quite a long time. I mean, the whole media is talking about Marcus Rashford all the time. And he just seems to be a heat magnet. But anyway, I will give you my thoughts on Marcus Rashford after Roy's given his. So please, here's Roy, and stick around for afterwards and I'll give you my thoughts.
It'll be a big talking point because they've been involved in all the other games, but he's obviously seen something he doesn't like, and he's had a look at it. He's new manager. They've probably had a clean slate since he come in, but he obviously doesn't like what he see. Whatever about their on-field performances, he's on about looking at their attitudes in terms of training, travelling, the way they speak to staff, work rate, etc. So to leave him out of the squad is a big call. But for us who've watched United recently, there's also not that big a surprise because both players have been poor. And he's probably said enough's enough. And we'll see also how they react to this big disappointment to be left out of a squad on obviously in a big game. But big call from the manager. But I like to see it. He's putting a marker down to these players, and it's now how these lads react to it.
Don't you think it's pretty sad though? A local boy in Rashford who was supposed to be the talisman for this team, to see the way his career sort of materialised over the last couple of years. He had that couple of good seasons, and he thought now is the time to be the leader, and to be not involved in a derby. It must be heartbreaking.
Of course. Well, you hope he's disappointed, because the derby should mean as much to a local player as much as anybody. So it will be a setback for him. But we've seen it coming. We've been talking about Marcus for the last year or two, attitude, off the field stuff. Obviously, a couple of issues going on. The other night in Europe when he came off, just body language on the bench, all these little signals. Remember, you've got a new manager, new staff who've come into the club, and they'll be picking up on all that stuff. And clearly he said he's been looking at it and he's not happy with it. He's the manager, big call.
There's a player in there though somewhere, isn't there? There's a player in there. You can't have all them attributes. He's good technically. He can run. He's quick. I think it's not helped the fact that the managers are always changing, systems are always changing, and I'm not trying to protect him by any stretch, but I just think it's a sad story for a player of that quality.
For him or for Manchester United?
For both. For both. I just think a player of Rashford's quality should be playing. He should be the...
But quality's not enough, Michael. We've discussed this many times for you. Quality in terms of picking moments in the game, and which he's not even been great at recently.
He got 30 goals 2 years ago. We're talking about a player who can do it. I know it is 2 years ago, but there's still something there. Not a lot of players can score 30 goals across the season with the pressure of Man United. I just feel it's a sad end to what's happening.
Well, it might be an end to him. Let's not be writing him off. He's just left out of the squad, but doesn't look good for him. I think ultimately, there's been talk over the last few months. I feel a probably move for Marcus is definitely would suit the player, a new challenge for him. He's been at the club a long time. He's done well for the club, but over the last year or two, whatever about talent at a big club, if your attitude's not quite right, and his certainly hasn't been great recently, sometimes I think it's good to part ways.
Marcus Rashford. I think the writing is on the wall with Marcus Rashford. I 100% agree with Roy Keane. It's been 2 years since he scored 30 goals, and he was fantastic that season, but he hasn't done anything since. And, he hasn't even looked like he's going to do anything since. He has scored a couple of goals under Ruben Amorim so far this season. Fair enough. Can't take that away from him. But it's almost like his body language is not looking good, and he doesn't seem to work that hard for the team necessarily. I've watched United quite a few times so far this season, actually at Old Trafford, and every time I see him, I don't know, there just doesn't seem to be any dynamism there at all. He's just kind of a passenger in the game, and it's a shame really because he's got all the talent in the world. He's as Micah Richards quite rightly points out, there's not that many 30-goal-a-season attackers out there. And he's a winger as well. How many 30-goals-a-season wingers are there? I remember they used to wax lyrical about Cristiano Ronaldo scoring 32 goals in a season from the wing, or well, over 30 goals anyway. I think he scored 42 or something. But still, 30 goals is a lot of goals to score from the wing, and he hasn't looked like replicating that form at all. He doesn't even look like he wants to either, and he's just very sullen and you know, when he does get the odd goal, he just stands in the corner looking at the camera and the fans, pointing to his head as if to say, you know. And it's like, yeah, we do know. You don't do this too often. That's what we know. So yeah, and I don't think he suits Ruben Amorim's style. Doesn't suit his style. Doesn't suit his system. Because you need to work really hard for the team in this system. Really, really hard for the team. And he's already said that. He wants constant pressing. And Marcus Rashford was never a presser. And Eric Ten Hag wanted Marcus Rashford to press as well. And he didn't do much for Ten Hag after that first season either. So I don't think he's going to suit it. I think a move away is probably best, because you can't have a player that's on 350 grand a week not doing anything, just being a passenger in games. So even if we sold him for 20 million, which would be a steal to be fair, because he could go to France and start scoring 30 goals in France. We'd probably enjoy that, because he could live the high life in Paris or Monaco or wherever. People would still worship him because he'd be able to score 20 goals a season easily. He would have an easy life down there. And I don't think he'd get hassled too much either. So that might be a shout for him. I think it's too early for him to go abroad to, say, Saudi. I think there's a way off for that yet. Same with America. I still think the guy's good enough, but his attitude's not there. And Roy Keane is absolutely 100% right in that talent is not enough. You need to have the attitude to complement the talent, because everyone's talented in the Premier League. The only difference between the ones that do it and the ones that don't is attitude. And Marcus Rashford just doesn't have the attitude. Mike is right as well in that it is sad, because he should be a talisman for United. He should be spoken of in the same breath as, say, the class of '92 and, you know, Best and Law. I'm not necessarily saying he's as good as them, but he came through the youth ranks like those guys. And I mean, all he has to do is look as though he's putting the effort in. I mean, look at Marouane Fellaini when he played for Manchester United all those years ago. He was rubbish. But by God, he put the effort in, and he never got booed. So, but Marcus Rashford is, 3 times the player Marouane Fellaini was, but he's just, the attitude's not there. I don't really know what else to say about Marcus Rashford. I mean, I could sit here and explain all the ideas that I've got to get the best out of Marcus Rashford. We could play in the low block, put him on the wing, hit teams on the counter-attack. We could put him as a number 9. We could put him with 2 up front, him and Højlund acts as the target man that lays off for Rashford and slots him through. We could put him on the at left wing back. We could put him on right wing back. He can bomb up and down. We can do all this. Doesn't matter. Because the effort's not going to be there. And that's in stark contrast to Amad Diallo. I mean, he puts the effort in. He's chasing everything down, and he's more skillful on the ball. He's maybe not quite as fast as Marcus, but he's nippier and he's more intricate, and that suits this system. Unlike Marcus. But where for Marcus? As previously mentioned, we could say he could go to France. Would any of the Spanish teams take him? Would Barcelona take him? Can Barcelona afford to pay him 300 grand a week? Is he worth 300 grand a week? I don't think so. Could maybe go to Bayern Munich or Dortmund. He'd maybe suit Germany. That might be ideal for him. He wouldn't get into the Real Madrid team. Not at all. Would he even get on the bench? Would he get on the bench over Endrick and Rodrigo? I don't think so. Don't think so. PSG would be a good option for him. Certainly. Italy? Nah. Italy's not good for him. Too slow. Too defence-minded. He's not intricate enough on the ball. PSG's probably his best bet. But who knows? Anyway, if you've got any ideas yourself, viewers, please put them in the comments. I might seem a little bit lethargic, but I think it's because I'm just tired of talking about Marcus Rashford. Because it's just sad and it's just a shame that, and plus I'm just getting off the back of a little bit of lurgy as well. And I've just got back in from watching the United City game, and I'm trying my best to hold in my feelings for the video I'm going to make after this one. So, what are your thoughts? If you've made it this far into my video, clearly interested in what I've got to say, and because of that, I am very interested in what you've got to say too. Is Marcus Rashford finished? You tell me. Where is his best option? You tell me. Please put it in the comments. I read all of the comments. Anyway, see you on the next one.